Okay, the entrance is here. It's probably going to be more like a funeral. When you know how much time, effort, and sweat equity that you have put in America's best, to see it fly for the last time. My daughter asked me, she said, "Dad, are you going to cry?" I said, "I don't see how I couldn't." A lot of eyes watching this one.
Like thousands of people today, Robert Jordan has come here to see the final launch of the Space Shuttle program.
2, 1, 0, and
There he goes. There he goes.
But for Robert, this launch is not just a milestone.
I want to cry.
It's personal. Robert is one of the estimated 5,400 space workers losing their jobs as NASA closes down the Space Shuttle program.
Jan, my favorite engineers for sure.
How you doing? You were our favorite management.
Well, thank you. That was very kind of you for sure.
Robert was laid off in January after 31 years as a top engineer on the Space Shuttle. But he landed on his feet, and he was able to buy a local engineering business.
I just looked on this as, hey, 31 years of space exploration for me. I was part of a historical time. No one else can say they were there from the beginning and did what I did. I just thought that this is going to be a challenge, but I'm up for the challenge.
But this is not only about challenges for one laid-off worker. It's about what comes next for a town known for the last 50 years as Space City.
We're sort of a company town. I think we were probably just a little too dependent on NASA jobs. I think we're probably around 11% unemployment right now.
Though the layoffs impact the entire Space Coast, as this part of Florida is called, the mayor says Titusville has suffered far worse.
We're certainly not talking about the same kind of catastrophic event that the end of Apollo was. It's just a whole different scenario.
Oh, we have a liftoff.
By the time NASA ended the Apollo moon missions in 1973, it had cut nearly 11,000 jobs. Back then, Brevard County had a much smaller population, and Titusville was hit severely. And it's not just local. The end of the shuttle affects Houston and New Orleans as well. And it's not just jobs. It's launched tourism.
This is the biggest day in Titusville. Anytime we have a launch, you look for Titusville to at least quadruple the population.
The final liftoff of Atlantis.
According to the Space Coast Tourism Office, the average launch has injected $4 to $6 million into the local economy, and this one brought in 15 to 20 million. But now that's all over with.
It's my job as the mayor to be Titusville's #1 cheerleader. I mean, I tell people all the time, we're the only city on the planet that has 2 airports, 2 golf courses, 2 halls of fame, a space museum, 3 space...
And the mayor's pitch goes on.
A vintage aircraft museum.
And on. Yet for local residents like contractor Tom Easley, it's falling on deaf ears.
The housing market being where it's at and everything else, I don't see it turning around in 10 years here. I haven't seen a rabbit and I haven't seen a hat, and until somebody pulls that rabbit out of that hat, I don't see any miracles coming.
You're going to bring economic growth. You'll take care of us. If you were...
Nobody is banking on miracles.
Father, we pray that you would give us vision.
But these area pastors are using prayer and donations to ease the economic pain.
We heard our great mayor of Titusville say that the Space Center did not make Titusville, but Titusville made the Space Center.
You can't just be naive and say, well, it's okay, God's going to fix it, because there's a certain amount of personal responsibility and things that people have to do.
Thank you, dear Father.
With that in mind, the group organized a charity for laid-off space workers, aptly named the Joseph Fund. Joseph is the biblical prophet who warned Egypt to prepare for hard times.
They really don't have any idea how to even apply for assistance. They're not on food stamps. They don't have all of the typical, venues for help that other people have.
Yeah, one of the things that you go through is the initial shock and panic, like, what do I do now?
Rick Garbiso got help from the fund. He was laid off 6 months ago, and he's still looking for work.
I'm kind of stunned that they would allow all the skill, these years, these decades of skills and technologies to just go away.
Atlanta's now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. 1 minute.
That's it, man.
As for Robert Jordan, he's saying his goodbyes.
Nice seeing you guys.
Take
care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That's all indicating we can make.
And he doesn't appear to be looking back.
I believe that I gave my best to the American space program, and it is just time to move on.
Atlanta's traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange. Standing by for solid rocket booster.